Yeah. Oobity-ba-ba-dee-boo. Isn't that soothing to the soul? Doesn't that Wax's podcast intro jingle played with a ukulele just dig deep into the innermost structure, the innermost fabric of your soul, and give it like a nice deep tissue massage? I hope you're listening to this in the morning or right before you go to sleep, sometime when you need to just be soothed. Soothed. That's a hard word to say. I'm going to leave you a little bit of blank time right now to say soothed to yourself. Soothed. Soothed. I just want you to feel soothed. Soothed. It's very difficult. I didn't come into this podcast planning to use the word soothed and say it 5 times because it's weird to say. I planned on coming into this podcast to soothe you. I don't know who did that jingle. I don't know who out there, if that person is still listening even. But like I've been saying the last few podcasts, I found a folder full of old jingles. If you want to send your own, beatsforwax@gmail.com. If not, that's fine. I got plenty to work with, and you know what? I can always just sing it myself. Wax's podcast, booba dooba squeeba dabba doom bee ba ba boom boom boom. I'm not scared to do that. Not scared to take it back to the initial. Take it back to the original man. Take it back to the ancient Egypt of podcast jingles. But I don't remember who did that one. I apologize if you're listening and you did that ukulele jingle. Wish I could remember who did it. But it felt good. It felt nice. It felt lovely. And it kind of feels like I feel today. It feels a little bit... I'm not going to say that jingle is happy, and I'm not going to say that it's sad. It's slightly melancholy. But also it's very soothing. It's like being massaged, but not like joyous about being massaged, just kind of being there, kind of apathetic and meditative. That's how I would describe that jingle. Maybe it's because of the weather right now. I live here in Los Angeles, California, where it's usually sunny and beautiful. And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about today. Today's overcast, and the temperature is perfect. I was just outside for a second in my short sleeve shirt, having coffee on the veranda. I have a veranda at my house. I have an actual house with a backyard. I got a studio in my house. I'm blessed. And some days I just sit on the veranda and drink my coffee. And I try to appreciate it, but I've been here so long that I don't fully appreciate the weather anymore. But on a day like today where you can't see that sun, that ukulele jingle might have brought a little bit of it into my life. That ukulele was not, considering the ukulele as the main and only instrument of that jingle, it's surprisingly non-Hawaiian sounding. Hawaii. That's where my next trip, my next time I treat myself to something, if I can fucking get a little bit ahead financially, which is not easy, as many of us know. We don't all have a father like Donald Trump had. We don't all have the ambition, drive, and wherewithal to get our head by ourselves. Some of us have been ahead and now have fallen behind. Some of us were once behind and are now ahead and can't even relate to what I'm talking about. But I hope that sometime next year, maybe early next year, depending on how many fucking t-shirts I sell as I travel across the country, depending on how many t-shirts I sell, I may or may not buy a plane ticket to Hawaii and do what I've always dreamed of. I've always dreamed of going to Hawaii. I feel like the reason I haven't been to Hawaii yet is not because I can't go. It's not because I've never had the funds to be able to go. If worst came to worst, I could somehow maybe manipulate my way into getting a credit card and max it out and go there, because I'm a firm believer a firm believer, I've talked about it on the podcast before, we as Americans, and really at this point, considering the influence of America, everybody in the world that has access to television and shit like that, we've come to the point where we value things over experiences. Rather get a truck than travel to Europe. That's how most of us look at life. Most people from my hometown are like that. I hear you. I know some of y'all motherfuckers listen. I know some of y'all motherfuckers listen. I'm not gonna name names, but some of y'all are thinking right now, that motherfucker's right. I do got a new truck, and I've never been to Paris. I know one of you is like, fuck Paris. I know one of you, but I'm not gonna name names. But considering I believe that human beings don't travel enough, myself included, before I really got into doing music full time and was able to travel for work, I didn't get to do it much. I never made a lot of money. I've actually made the most money in my life doing this shit. Not podcasting, by the way. Don't fucking take that wrong. Not podcasting. I meant making music. Anyway, digressing as I do often, I can't believe I've never been to Hawaii. I'm 37, man. I did an album with EOM, Liquid Courage, on 2008. The intro track talked about how I wanted to go to Hawaii. That was the goal. Move to Hawaii and drink. And I was talking, I don't know, I hope I didn't mention this on the podcast before, but I was talking about that, I believe, with my boy Frage. How it's interesting that for me, this is very strange. For me, whether I'm super successful in this field of entertainment and music, or I'm a complete failure in this field of entertainment and music, the end goal is the same. The end goal is the same. The end goal of this whole thing is to move to Hawaii and just sit at a tiki bar and drink. Now, whether I'm successful or not, the only difference is which side of the bar am I on. Am I tending? Am I tending? Because if I'm tending, that means I was not successful and I moved there to say fuck it. If I'm signing my name on the credit card bill and giving tips to the person who is tending, that means I retired after a successful career. Now, what's the difference there? It's a very minuscule difference in lifestyle, really. Just I might have a couple more things. Who knows? Maybe the failure one would actually have a better life. Maybe you move there. You're working at the bar. There's a girl who was the hostess at the bar, and she's lovely. She's a Hawaiian native. End up impregnating her. And just lead this nice, beautiful Hawaiian life. Just eating Spam. Have a big, fat Hawaiian baby. Big Spam and egg filled. Lardy baby. Maybe that's better. Because you never know. I could get down there after my quote-unquote successful career. Maybe I'm 60 years old. That hostess isn't looking at me anymore. She doesn't care that instead of living in a one-bedroom apartment, I live in a fucking two-bedroom apartment, and one of them's a studio, just in case I want to get creative again. She doesn't care. She just sees an old man. An old man drinking Mai Tais at the bar by himself. Remembering the old times and thinking about what could have been. Could have got married. Could have had a family. Instead, he went on the Cookout Chronicles tour. November and December 2016. And from there, he toured again and again and again and again and again. The only children he has are illegitimate ones. He has one in Switzerland, and he has one in Austin, Texas. Those would be the places I probably have. But anywho, she doesn't see the difference. Well, she does see the difference. She would rather that still somewhat healthy man in his late 30s. She'd rather see him tending the bar, possibly even learning to flip the cups around, possibly even learning to do flair bartending. Shout out to my boy, J.D. Sakamoto. May he rest in peace. A Hawaiian man himself. Jesus. Things are full circle. Oh, that fucked me up. Fuck. Yeah, anyway. The result is kind of the same, right? How did I get on that? I don't know how I got on talking about that. Something about traveling, Hawaii. I don't really know. But I will say this. I'm going on tour. November and December of this year, 2016. The Cookout Chronicles Tour, Wax, the Palmer Squares, and DJ Skits, and you should go check it out. Almost all the shows are booked. I'm working on like 2 more. Greensboro, North Carolina was added this week. Due to popular demand and just because why the fuck would we not do this? I'm really looking to find something in Michigan. For some reason, I've had 2 good markets and awesome cities, Detroit and Houston. For some reason, in those 2 towns, I'm having trouble booking a show. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but hopefully next podcast I'll have some positive news. Hopefully next podcast I'll have some positive news. I think that I got to the Hawaii thing because I was talking about the sound of the ukulele. The sound of the ukulele on this podcast was surprisingly non-Hawaiian, considering that when you hear a ukulele, you think of Hawaii. I'll get there one day. Yeah, I was getting... Why do I always suck my teeth? It's because when I drink coffee, it has that... Coffee with cream and sugar, and it has that succulent... Makes you suck your gums together. I don't fucking know. But, yeah, if I sell enough T-shirts after this tour, I'm going to take myself a trip to Hawaii. That's what I'm going to do. Who knows? Maybe I won't sell enough T-shirts. Maybe I will. But, you know, you got to do shit in this life. You got to go places. For me to have not been to Hawaii yet is almost ridiculous because I've always wanted to go to Hawaii ever since I was a little kid. I know some of you guys are like, well, what's the real difference between Hawaii and Jamaica? Hawaii and Cancun, Hawaii and the Bahamas. If you're just going as like this tourist guy, if you're just going to sit at Sandals all you can eat and drink resort, wearing flip-flops, spending any extra money you have on things like massages and snorkeling expeditions, what's the real difference? Just the type of fish you see while you're halfway underwater? Well, I say to you, what the fuck? Somebody out here weed whacking. I say to you, person that thinks what's the difference between all that stuff, there's something different about Hawaii to me. It's not even to me. It's just different. Hawaii has a cool culture. There's fucking... It's like where tiki bars come from. The ukulele. I love the way that Hawaiian music sounds. I want to see a live luau with hula dancing. I think for some reason when I was a kid... Dude. That fucking sound is annoying. I don't know if you can hear that. You probably hear it way in the background if you turn it up. I'm doing landscaping or something next door. That's how entitled I am. Hey, stop that! How dare you? I'm podcasting! How dare you whack weeds at this point? I mean, it's 11 a.m. Can't you see that I'm sleeping or podcasting? When I was a kid, you know what they would play? They would play the old sitcoms from like the 50s and 60s on Nick at Night. Some of you guys are like, what was anything you just said in that last sentence? Because I'm 18 years old. And I have no idea what Nick at Night is, and I don't know what the 50s or 60s were. If you watch old episodes of shows such as I Love Lucy, I Dream of Jeannie, what was some of the other like old, probably Beverly Hillbillies? When Hollywood was at its fullest fucking potential or whatever, when Hollywood was Shit, when Hollywood was all white, Trump's Hollywood. Make Hollywood white again. No, but when Hollywood was doing these shows like Gilligan's Island, Mr. Ed, all this shit, I think at that time, like the California Dreamin' shit, like the Beach Boys and surfing and California seeming super cool had just started. Like, we lived through that. We fucking, be it the Red Hot Chili Peppers or just the coolness of skateboarding. When I was a kid, everything cool was from California, if you're in the United States, or New York. But, in a lot of those old shows, since everybody lived over here and everybody fantasized about living here and all the shows took place over here, when those people went on vacations, they'd go to Hawaii. There was something about Hawaii. Maybe the fact that at that time Hawaii had probably recently acquired statehood. There was an obsession with Hawaii. If you watch those old shows, you'd see luau's. You'd see hula skirts. Are they called hula skirts? The skirts, coconut bras. What fucking hot-blooded, warm-blooded child, prepubescent, warm-blooded teen doesn't like a coconut bra and a hula skirt doing a hula dance? Is that where the hula hoop is from? See, I bet you the hula hoop is from that era. I know it's from that era, like the 50s. And it's kind of like one of those things. The hula hoop is like a Corona. You watch a Corona commercial and you say, I can't be at that beach where those people are sitting calmly and drinking Corona, but you know what I can do? I can go to the beach. I can go to the liquor store and get myself a 12-pack. And I can sit on my veranda and imagine that I'm right there on that beach. If I close my eyes, I'm almost there. Same thing with the hula hoop. You're watching a fucking old Elvis movie, an old movie that Elvis starred in, like the one, whichever one Eddie Murphy was referencing in Delirious when he said, "We gotta win this race." How's that for fucking 8 references in one that none of you understood unless you're over 35? How's that? We gotta win this race. Lemonade. That cool, refreshing drink. Why the fuck did I talk about that? My digressions are beyond me. The hula hoop. When you're watching some old Elvis movie with a beautiful woman in a coconut bra and a fucking skirt made out of palm leaves, dancing around in a circular, moving her hips in a circle, you say to yourself, you know what? I'm just a child from Midwestern fucking state. I'm just a child from Louisville. I'm a child from Louisville, Kentucky. My parents aren't going to take me to Hawaii to witness this. I'm never going to be able to be at a luau in Hawaii. I'm never going to sit there on Waikiki Beach, and you know what? I'm never going to be in the circle of dancing like that. So you know what? The only choice that I have to do is to go to my local Walmart, Kmart, Caldor, whatever fucking store, probably at that time, Johnson's General Store, whatever store was selling the latest craze, which was the hula hoop. Only thing you could do is get a hula hoop to move your hips like that, like they do in the fucking Hawaii, as they stand by as they dance around the roasting pig, the spit, as they make circles around the spit, while they make circles with their hips. They make circles with their hips as they circle around the spits. And I think to myself, I want a hula hoop. I'm going fucking nuts, man. Yeah, so that's what all that stuff I just said I had written down in an outline. Let's see if I completed my outline. Let's see. Going to Hawaii, always dreamed about Hawaii, hula hoops, Eddie Murphy, Delirious, Elvis reference. Okay, cool. Check. Got it all out. Thank God. Now, let me see. Oh, fuck. I'm dropping shit everywhere. Hula hoop. It's with Koopa Troop. Didn't I rhyme hula hoop? No, that was, who rhymed hula hoop was Satire. Roll spinning like a hula hoop. Face so goddamn numb, I could pull a tooth. Did I have anything else I wanted to talk about? The things I did this week. You know what I did this week? Sobriety will make you do things you've never done before, which is cool, but also kind of lame. This week I went to an escape room, which was, I think an escape room, if you've never heard of that, it's like a place where you and your friends go, and they they put you through like a test, they put you in these rooms, you got to unlock the door by solving little riddles that they have around the room. And I think it could be cool, but the one that we specifically went to in Studio City, where there's like escape from the haunted music studio, I wouldn't recommend it. Thought it was pretty fucking lame, actually. Funny thing about it is this place used to be a recording studio, like a low budget recording studio, and some Russian dudes and chicks that moved to LA. They turned it into an escape room, and apparently they have a bunch of escape rooms throughout LA. I'm now on their email list, and I'll never go to an escape room that they own. I found out from Davey that he did an escape room in Amsterdam, and he said it was awesome. But this one just was kind of low budget. It felt like, I was just in my friend's place, and they locked the door, and I had to step on some shit on the floor. I don't know. It was whack. But a funny thing about it was I had recorded at that studio before, when it actually was a studio. Recorded there a long, long time ago, many, many years ago. My boy Bailey had a session there, and I did a guest verse on his friend's album probably 8 years ago. And now, what used to be a studio, they turned into a haunted studio. Also, 2 days before that, this was last week on Wednesday and Thursday, another thing that I've never done in my life that I did, I went to a poetry slam. A poetry slam. Never been to one before, and you know what I did take out of it that was pretty interesting? First of all, it was packed. It was super packed, and it was a very young event. It felt like I was getting out of 5th and 6th period to go to the cafeteria and witness some shit in middle school or high school. It was a very young event. I think a lot of the people that were performing, I believe, were in high school or college. And it was packed. We had to sit on the stage. We didn't even get seats. We had to sit on the stage, like Indian style on a wooden stage. It fucking hurt after a while because it was a really long event. We had to leave a little bit early. And one thing that was great about going to a poetry slam, I would say more so than any other event I've attended, the audience was just completely 100% paying attention the entire time. You weren't allowed to have phones. You weren't allowed to talk. There was no alcohol served. So even when you go to most comedy events, people aren't supposed to talk, but they're drinking. There might be a waitress and they're ordering fucking nachos. At this place, it's pin drop the whole time, just 100% attentiveness. And I admired that. I admired that in a crowd, and I admired that in just a type of art form and performance art or whatever. But I learned some things. You know what I learned? Some of you guys, apparently this is fucking common, and everybody knows this. But when you go to a poetry slam and the person that's performing says something that you really like, if you watch a rap battle, somebody says some clever bar, everybody goes, "Oh!" Or if you're watching somebody skateboard, they might make a reaction. Or if you're if you're at a comedy thing, somebody says something funny, everybody laughs. Duh. When somebody says something deep or interesting at a poetry slam, everybody in the audience goes, that's the sound of me snapping my fingers. Everybody snaps their fingers. When the first person I was like, what the fuck is going on with this finger snap shit? But that's your sign of appreciation. Go ahead. Yeah, girl. And there's a lot of young people there, so the people that were performing were all saying stuff. I feel like they were all saying stuff about politics and being a woman or being a man or being gay or being whatever they were. Just very fucking strong and confident attitudes about whatever the fuck they were talking about. And, that's why you don't see a lot of old slam poets. We don't get like that once we get past a certain age. That's why activism is for young people. You get to a certain age, and this might sound bad, but you kind of get to a certain point in your life, some earlier than others. And this also, and I 100%, a lot of this could be my privilege as a white male. 100% that I understand that that's a thing. I understand that what I'm about to say is very influenced by the fact that I'm a white male in the United States of America. I mean, technically, I'm like half Hispanic, but it's kind of like the way people look at you determines your privilege. You come to realize that it's really more important that you only get one fucking life. Are you gonna complain your whole life, or are you gonna have fun? And like I said, it's easy for me to say that. I have less to complain about because of my standing. But I have shit to complain about. We all do. When I was college age, I would be much more likely to go out in the streets with a picket sign. But not going to now. Rather just enjoy things. It's hard enough for me to fucking gain enjoyment in my personal life, much less bring enjoyment to the world via holding a sign. It's just difficult for me, And like I said, I get that it's partially because I'm not going to walk out in the street and have a cop kill me. But you know what? I barely walk out in the street, period. I just stay home. My activism is attempting to find enjoyment in my life. That's what the time that some people spend trying to better their lives by bettering the system. I'm just trying to better my life by just trying to bring joy into my life. Now that's a sign that not only I have privilege, but I don't have like inner happiness. People that are already happy just are looking for more happiness. They're like, I'm happy, but things aren't perfect. Let me try to make them more perfect. I'm trying to do that just inside of myself, not outside, not in the outside world. I think that's kind of getting to the root of what I'm talking about. When you're older, your circle of what you're trying to change becomes smaller. Maybe because you see the reality of it. Like I've seen this for a long time, but I see that my vote is not that effective, especially now I live in California. It literally doesn't matter if I vote or not. I'm not saying y'all shouldn't. Fucking go vote, especially if you live in Florida or whatever. But I just see how ineffective I am. I'm much more, what am I trying to say? Just ineffective. If I tried to be an activist, I'd be relatively ineffective. And if I'm out there activizing, and inside of myself, I'm like, I'm just not happy right now. Due to other things. Due to my own issues with addiction. Due to my own issues with relationships. Due to my own issues with self-isolation. Things like that. I got to make my world, my little world, better before I can make the entire world better. The little world comes first. Maybe as a kid, you're kind of like, I'm part of the big world. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. Let's do questions and shout-outs. All right, let's do some questions and shout-outs. Let's start with the shout-outs, as we always do. Why would I switch the order on episode 124? Why would I all of a sudden switch the order and just confuse you so badly? People that listen to the podcast every week would just be like, why are you doing the questions before the shout-outs? That's insane. I'm never listening again because I like repetition. I like familiarity. I like Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune because they've been the same since the fucking 80s. You know that's the thing that, people love that shit, right? People don't want too much creativity. People don't want too much change. They want to be familiar with something. That's why Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and game shows in general stick around for a long time. So when they try to change it, that it gets boring. People like simple, repetitive shit. America's Funniest Home Videos is still on. You find a format and you do it to death. A little different in music, I'd say. It's people that switch properly that stay around for a long time, like Kanye, Prince, Michael Jackson, but they're different. Some people are different. Anyway, shout-outs. Brian the Trainer. Nice to have you back. Hadn't heard... excuse me. Just fucking kind of burped and yawned and talked at the same time. Hadn't heard from Brian the Trainer in a while, and he is back to being a podcast listener. And you know what, Brian? We're glad to have you back. When I say we, I mean everybody that's listening. Sophia M. We got Cornelius O., a.k.a. King's Eyes. We got Petey Machete, who recommends meditation. He said it is awesome, and he also does mad yoga and recommends that as well. And you know what, Petey Machete? I shared your recommendation because I agree with you. We got Ghost in the Pines. Congratulations to Ghost in the Pines, who's opening up her own restaurant, the Texas Road Stand, right outside of Austin, Texas. It looks like it's going to be awesome. She sent me the menu. It looks like it's going to be amazing. So like I told her in the email, as you go, Ghost in the Pines, as you open up, as you start to get closer to opening, I'm proud, I'm happy to promote your business on my podcast because it's awesome. It looks like it's going to be, I don't know, it just looked like a good place to eat. We got Ryota O. We got Isaac J. Terry G in Dallas. By the way, I'll be in Dallas on December something. Wax.com.com for dates and tickets. I'll be at the venue called Trees, which I've played at before. Last time I played there was the Wintervention Tour with Dumbfounded and Anderson .Paak. Speaking of Anderson .Paak, Jesus fucking Christ. His album No Worries, NXWORRIES, him and Knowledge. Knowledge was also an X instead of an O in his name. Their album is fucking incredible. I listened to it like fucking 10... I say fucking a lot. I listened to it like 10 times this week. So I recommend that. That's my recommendation. We got Big D, who says, my voice has cleared up noticeably on the podcast since I stopped smoking. He's talking about me. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to take his word for it. I'm going to take your word for it, Big D. Something about Big D talking about my throat. It's weird. Mark from Gurnee, Illinois, and his girlfriend, Alyssa. Mark recommends the show Vikings, which is on the History Channel. I've never seen that, Mark, but it's probably dope if you recommend it, you and your girlfriend, Alyssa. We got Paradox. Greg Gillespie, a.k.a. Reno Gino, a.k.a. Steezus Christ, a.k.a. Dolphin Lundgren. We got Victor from New York. Spencer B. in Toronto. Speaking of which, anybody up in that Toronto area, I know it's a little bit of a drive, but I'm playing in Buffalo, New York on November 30th. I feel like I'm being a dick by I'm talking about this Buffalo show as if it's a Toronto show when it's like an hour and a half from Toronto. And there's a lot of people who just live in Buffalo. So Buffalonians and Torontonians, go on over to the show again. Whatever. Chris and Clifford from San Francisco who are excited that Chain Reaction is coming back. I shot another episode this week, fam. Shot another episode of Chain Reaction, and I'm hopefully shooting one tomorrow as well. Getting a little season, get a little season done before I head on tour. Gonna have 5 episodes to put out while I'm gone. Solid ones. Solid eps. We got Connor N., who says that he does in fact have a friend named Dylan. Sonny P., who is also excited about Chain Reaction. Clones 3K, who recommends doing a chain reaction at Whataburger while I'm in Texas. I might do that. The problem is, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I will do that. We will see. We got Jackie Sweetleaf. Shout out to you, Jackie. Chris M. from Michigan. My man, Chris M. Up in Michigan, working on a show there. Who knows if it'll happen? We got Adam T. And last but not least, we got Austin P., who resides in Denver, where I will be chilling for like 3 days in 2 weeks. About, I don't know, in late November sometimes we'll be chilling in Denver for a few days. So like I said, if you got any recommendations for cool, like especially like nature type of shit to do in Denver, daytime nature stuff, Colorado Rockies type of stuff to do in Denver, let me know. All right. Hey, Wax. Hope you're well, fam. Oh, shit. Did I not put the... Oh, I might have missed the name of the person who sent this. I guess I forgot to copy and paste from... Shit. Hey, Wax. Hope you're well, fam. I want to check out that hypnosis video you recommended on the podcast. What was it called? Also, I want to recommend Gary Clark Jr. to you in the podcast listeners. I think you might at least be familiar with him. The Story of Sonny Boy Slim album is excellent. I especially like the songs Star and Church. Peace. Somehow I left out the name of the person who sent me that email, but the hypnosis video is the hypnosis video I was talking about for quitting smoking. And let me see. You know what? While I'm thinking about that, let me see if exactly... Maybe I'll just hold up 1 second. Maybe I will. Let's see if I go to YouTube. Quit smoking. Hypnosis. Well, quit smoking and hypnosis almost rhyme, don't they? To some rappers, that straight up does rhyme. To some. Oh, wow. Okay. You know what? I'm going to tweet this motherfucker right now. Nah, my Twitter's not... I'm not signed into Twitter on this computer. If you go to YouTube and you type in quit smoking hypnosis, it's like the second one down. It says stop smoking self-hypnosis, quit now session by Michael Seeley. And it says stop smoking on the thumbnail. It's 51:35 is the length. That's the one. Yeah, so thanks. Yeah, Gary Clark Jr. is amazing. I saw him live at South by Southwest like 4 years ago. And yeah, he's an incredible guitar player. And I haven't listened to a lot of his albums, but from what I've heard, it's good shit. All right. This next one is from Ben A. Hey, Wax, big fan. Would love to get a shout out for me and a few of the homies. Now, he listed the full names of his homies. I know some of this is bullshit, but I'm going to read it anyway. Barry Taylor, Adam Baker, Angus Dayton, Channing Tatum, Darren Day and Gareth Gates, Samantha Jameis, Alan Davis, Francis Laker, Jackie Gaeta, Randy Quay, and Frankie Fraser. I just realized that those kind of rhyme with each other. I think he probably wanted me to do that. But well done, Ben A., because I didn't even notice that when I copied and pasted it. Kind of random. Shine 'em random. Slide 'em blandum. Shia LaBeouf. Cry Bob Cruff. Okay, we got one from Ben K here. Questions and suggestions for the podcast. Questions and suggestions. Learning lessons. What he testing. I'm a besting with a guessing. What a besting with a besting. Yo, you should leave a complaint in the suggestion box. You got a question, Pops? Go watch Master of None on Netflix. It's starring Aziz Ansari and is one of the best shows around despite only having 10 episodes. I saw Dumb saying how great it was on Twitter a while back and tuned in and I was hooked. I've seen a couple episodes of that. The Aziz Ansari. It's like almost like his version of Louis. It's like a little bit younger. So I'd recommend that as well. Master of None. I also recommend the Ricky Gervais podcast. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard the Ricky Gervais podcast. But it's recommended by Ben K. All right, then he moves on to a question. If you had to pick one or the other, would you be awake 24/7 but constantly pissing yourself, or awake 24/7 but constantly shitting yourself? I mean, that's a ridiculous question. That's an absolutely ridiculous question. But I think realistically, if you're going to have to choose between pissing yourself constantly and shitting yourself constantly. I mean, if you piss yourself constantly, you're gonna be dehydrated fast. If you shit yourself constantly, I guess you're just gonna have to like. Either way, you're just gonna also have to be drinking water constantly and eating constantly, right? Or you'll just fucking shit yourself out or piss yourself out. I think I gotta go with shitting. Seems more comfortable than being wet. Okay, good luck with the tour, by the way, and say hi to Matt and Seth. Those are the first names of the Palmer Squares. By the way, I turned 23 on the 21st of September. Been following you since I was 13. Jesus, time flies. That's crazy, Ben K. That is fucking nuts. Congratulations and happy birthday. I hope you had a good one. And, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you paying attention and following and listening and emailing to the podcast. This next one is from Mike from Long Branch, New Jersey. Yo, Wax. What up, man? Just wanted to say that I like the First Love video. It's awesome, and it made me think of a question for the podcast. Are there any songs that you look back and wish you had done a video for, or maybe a song you wish you had pushed more as a single? Personally, I always thought that Get It In would have been a fun song to make a video for. Also wanted to let you know that I got tickets for your show at the Voltage Lounge in Philly and plan on getting them for SOBs in New York as they go on sale. Pumped to see you perform, man. Be easy. Well, I'm super, super glad to hear that, Mike, and I'm very pumped myself to be doing shows in Philadelphia and New York City. I'm also doing Stanhope, New Jersey. Let me wonder how far that is from Long Branch. Let's see. Hold on one second. Let's see if that's even Long Branch, New Jersey. I don't know how far that is from Stanhope. I'm using, for some reason, this goes to the fucking, hold up one second. Stanhope. I'm trying to keep you entertained while I do this shit. Trying to keep you entertained while I do my own shit. I'm over here trying to keep you entertained while I'm doing my own shit. Oh, Long Branch, New Jersey is on the coast. Oh, that's way down there, huh? That's not close to Stanhope, New Jersey. Stanhope, New Jersey is on the whole other side. Like, you're actually closer to New York City. If I know how to read a map correctly. Probably even closer to Philly. That looks like a cool place to live, though. Right the fuck on the right on the water. That's like the quintessential, like, Jersey Shore, right? Right, Mike? I don't know. Is that the quintessential Jersey Shore, or is? Hold up, dude. Hold up. Now you're still kind of in a suburb of New York City, huh? I don't know, man. Why am I doing this on the podcast? That's a better question. How are you being entertained by me looking at a map? Getting my geography on and shit. He had a question. What was the question? Oh yeah, with the get it in. We actually did have a idea for a video. The song kind of wrote the video itself. It was just gonna be basically rent a limo bus and get a bunch of people to party in it. You know, at this point, obviously it's a little late to do that. But yeah, it would have been a really fun video to do. I think we even wrote out like a little treatment for that video. Writes itself. Certain songs, like, they kind of write their own video. But you discover that that's not always the best way to do the video. Like, when you hear a song and you see a video in your head, sometimes that's because it's the most obvious thing, and sometimes that's the perfect way to do the video. But in other cases, it's better to be like, you know what, if this is what everybody's going to see naturally, let's throw them a monkey wrench or whatever the fuck. Throw a wrench into the plan. I don't know. Let's read this one. This one is this is from just E. And it's not E as in EOM. This is from a girl, actually. All right. This is a bit long, bit lengthy, but let's go. Hey, Wax. This is the drunk girl from a show in Austin a few years ago who had a husband in prison and told you your music helped me get through the day. I remember you. He's been out of prison for years, and that shit is a distant memory. So we're in New Zealand and loving life. It's better than ever and just keeps seems to be getting better and better all the time. Getting better all the time. You got to feel the lowest lows to get the highest highs, as a wise drunky pants once said. Anyway, I'm listening to your podcast from last month about quitting smoking and drinking. I'm so stoked for you. I quit drinking a few months ago after a year of taking breaks and then saying I'll just have 3 a night, and repeatedly proving there was no fucking way that was going to happen. And it's way too much work trying to be moderate and trying to decide whether or not to drink one day. It's way easier to just say, fuck it, I'm not drinking anymore, and move on to other decisions. Everything you're saying in your podcast is hitting home with me right now. I never thought of the relapses as being necessary, but that makes so much sense. I guess all the booze hounds think they have a completely unique relationship with alcohol when really it's the same fucking story played out over and over, with some really low lows. And yeah, there was lots of good stuff that came out of those years, but as you get older, the returns are way diminished and it becomes so predictable, and the pain outweighs the pleasure. When you don't know the difference between your own pleasure and pain, you're an addict. All this stuff, anybody out there that has issues with alcohol is relating to everything that she just said. I just want to let you know, if it helps at all, that after a few months I can say that the shit definitely got easier. That's good to hear. At first you're thinking all in negatives like, man, I'm going to be missing out on so much stuff, and I can't do such and such anymore, and I'm never going to do that fun thing again. But when you're off the booze for a while, waking up with energy and feeling good and being excited about the day, which is unthinkable when you're hungover every day, gets addictive in itself. And all of a sudden, I'm actually focusing all my energy on exactly what I want to do, getting heaps of projects done. Work is so much better. Work is so much easier. I never wake up in the middle of the night dry and shitty and feeling horrible about my behavior. Relationships get better. The bank account looks better. I look way better. I never have sore kidneys or chest pains. I want to actually do stuff for other people. I'm not hiding my drinking from anyone. It's actually awesome hanging out with mates. You're really catching the New Zealand thing. Or maybe were you always from New Zealand, or were you from Austin and moved there? I don't know, but you said heaps and mates. Hanging out with mates and family sober and going to dinner without getting sloppy and trying to keep it together and doing embarrassing shit and feeling sick the next day. It's actually really fucking cool being sober and totally with it at 9 p.m. And you're 100% right that the 2 hours of fun when you're only having a few beers in the sun is and the sun is shining is completely outweighed by the next few hours of sloppiness and a shitty next day. So yeah, you'll find heaps of good turns happening, and we'll feel stoked about new opportunities. It amazed me to realize how the alcohol was actually taking up almost all of my focus and energy, just trying to decide each day what time to start drinking and making sure there was enough in the fridge, and trying to hide all the negative sides of it from everyone around me. Plus, seeing the same behavior in other people you love, you realize what a waste it is. I can't wait to hear what music you come up with next. It's going to be fucking awesome. Well, we'll see. Loving the Cookout Chronicles, like all your stuff. You're the best, man. Thank you. Thanks for everything. I know you don't want your podcast to be all about getting sober, but I definitely hope you keep talking about it from time to time. There's so many alcoholics who are fucking over it and are looking for a way to move on. Love, E. P.S. You lost me at yoga, though. Too hard not to fart in a quiet room. I don't know what's yeah, I mean, you know, yoga and farting aside, that was that was a very nice email. I really appreciate that, E. I really appreciate you taking the time to write that. And I think anybody out there that's listening, certainly that has any issues with alcohol, but even issues with addiction, or just issues with just like trying to change their lives, could relate to a lot of the shit you said. But like, you know, that one paragraph, like the third paragraph, yeah, everybody thinks they have this unique relationship with alcohol, but it really is kind of like everybody is doing the same and the same. Everybody kind of has the same path. Like, it's fun for a long time. Some people it's fun less. Some people it's only fun for a short period of time. For some people, myself included, drinking is fun for a long, long time. But then if you do it too much, you just get to that point where you start quitting for extended periods of time, and then you get back on it. And it's fun here, it's fun there, but the negatives outweigh the positives. And then when you try to start being quote unquote moderate, it's actually much more stressful to try to moderate your drinking than to just not drink. And you definitely like not being hungover. That's true. But yeah, just trying to moderate the shit. Having 3, like on a Wednesday night, just going and having 2 drinks or something like that. To somebody who's an alcoholic or whatever, like that's more stressful to stop after 2 than it is to just not have 2. And it's tough. It's tough. I mean, even thinking about going to Hawaii, like going to, what the fuck? Who's that? Going to Hawaii, like that, like drinking's a huge part of the way that I see it there. I mean, I just want to sit at a tiki bar and drink. But I guess realistically, you could wake up early, go on a hike throughout the fucking Hawaiian rainforest or whatever they got over there, and go eat a big fat meal. And then at night, you could still sit at the tiki bar and have yourself a virgin pina colada. And get to bed early. Maybe do a little bit of I mean, technically, you can still hear all the shit. Like, technically, it's even easy. You'll remember it all and all that bullshit. I don't fucking know, man. I still want to drink over there. But, thinking about doing the 3 days in Denver, that's part of why I want to think about some nature type of stuff to do. Usually, any other tour I would have been on, 3 days in Denver, I would have been looking at bars. I would have been seeing if there was any kind of, like, beer festival going on during that time. I would just drink all day for 3 days, probably. Maybe not all day, but it'd be a solid part of what I was doing. And that's partially the reason why the fact that I used to drink and smoke cigarettes so much. That's partially the reason why every single tour I was just fucking sick. I would get sick like the first week and just be sick for the rest of the tour. The combination of being in a van with a bunch of other people, not getting any sleep, the temperature changing all the time from city to city, just being around germs constantly, and then to top it all off, the real cherry on top, just alcohol and cigarettes all day and night, every day, even on days off, you're going to get sick, which sucks if you're a fucking vocalist, Not only is it going to make the show worse to the audience, but it's going to make it painful to yourself. So we'll see what happens this time. You know what I did? I got a flu shot. A couple weeks ago, I got a flu shot, and hoping that it'll further ensure, hoping to further ensure that I will not get sick on tour. I got a flu shot. Mostly because my mom bugs me about it. I may be 37, but my mom still bugs me about things. It just takes much longer to get it done. My mom bugged me to get glasses since I was a child. I've had them for 2 years now. I still want to get rid of these glasses. It's annoying to wear glasses, man. And the thing is, my vision is really only bad when I'm looking at a computer screen or a book. Like, I'll go through life, I'll forget that I don't have my glasses on, and I'm fine. But then I go to look at a computer screen, which, I do all the time. I spend so much time looking at a screen, as we all do in this day and age. Even just looking at your phone. It's crazy how often we look at our phones, man. Fucking A. By the way, thank you, E. I don't think I said I thanked you for sending that email. That was awesome. I walked around the park the other day. There's a huge, like, takes up a full city block park across the street from my house, and I often take walks around the park. And I was walking there the other day, and it was at night. It was like 7 p.m. or something like that. Probably earlier than that, I guess, 6 p.m. Somewhere around that time, and there was a million different soccer practices going on. And it was really interesting to see that, like, the parents, they show up with their kids, and they say, all right, go ahead out on the field. They go with their other kid friends on their team and their coach. And you look at the sideline, it's just a bunch of fucking parents who are like, Whew, after that long day working with my kids, I finally get time to, and instead of saying relax, they said to get on my phone. And it's just a line of parents just looking at their phone, looking at Facebook and Instagram on their phone. And most of them are about my age. Another interesting thing that we noticed, me and the person I was walking around the park with noticed that where I live and where the park is, it's like I live in Sherman Oaks, which if you go in one direction, you get into the Hollywood Hills. Like on one side of the Hollywood Hills is Hollywood, on the other side is Sherman Oaks. And in these hills, there's multi-million-dollar mansions where movie stars live. Like, you could be on Tinder and end up on a date with fucking, I don't know, a movie star. But if you go the other way, you get into Van Nuys. And it's more like a low-income, 90% Latino neighborhood. So if you're on Tinder, you could find somebody from either of those places, and if you're a parent, your soccer team or whatever has people from those places. So an interesting thing about that is the age gap between the father the father or mother of a 8-year-old kid who's on the soccer team. You might be 25 and you might be 60. You could have like a David Letterman dude there, or you could have a girl there that's you know what I'm saying. The age difference in parents is crazy. And that's not me being, maybe it is me being racist and stereotypical, but stereotypes are based on something. A lot of the rich white people that are successful in Hollywood, David Letterman probably being the reason I use him because he's a literal example. I think David Letterman's like 70 with a 10-year-old, and that's very common. People do all this stuff for themselves before they do the family thing. Then, of course, they're out there playing at the Little League game in Sherman Oaks, while all the other young dads are running around, throwing pop flies, ground balls. They're sitting in the dugout, just happy to be sitting down. Can barely fucking move their weary bones. And, yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I was the other day, walking around Sherman Oaks, Little League. What the fuck am I talking about, man? We'll see where life takes me next. Once I complete this podcast, I have a bunch of shit to do. I'm rehearsing for the tour, y'all. Gonna try to put on a good show. I got to reserve. I'm doing some of the administrative work of this tour myself. Luckily, I found an amazing person to go with me on tour as the manager of the tour manager. She's on her shit. She's very smart. And yeah, this is independent shit, man. I don't hop on the bus and just hopefully we'll get to the venue and toss me on stage and sing and rap my little songs. No. It's much more than that. I got to do everything. Got to see everything from every angle. And that's where I'm at. So hopefully I'll see you guys out there. wax.com.com. All right. Be safe out there.